that they're taking. All right, let's start. Endgame rewards. When setting up the frequency of encounters and rewards for Path of Exile 2, we've decided we have to decide how many maps players will do in order to get them. After extensive playtesting, we now believe we overshot this number pretty substantially. No fucking shit. Pardon my French, but no fucking shit. Like, spending hours just to set up your towers, then you still have to go run your maps after, is ridiculous. And then just like how many maps have to do to find citadels, at least like logbooks and breachstones and simulacrums are a lot more consistent now, and Audience of the King I think are a bit more consistent, but yeah. In 2.0G, we improved the baseline experience of getting rewards for monsters and chests, but we still feel you didn't get enough of those exciting spike moments. I mean, dude, how many hours have I actually played between 0.1 and 0.2? I've never gotten like a big drop for myself. Ever. I've never gotten a Dorn drop. I've never gotten a Last Flame drop. I've never had like my own Astramentus or Dream Fragments or Headhunter drop. I did get a Headhunter this league by spamming the foil keys, the reliquary keys, but I don't really count that as like, you know, I killed a monster and I got it as a drop, right? I just bought like a ton of keys from Alva as a gamble, which I don't consider as the same thing, but I still got one. Okay, but anyway, going back into like actually like, okay, if you want to go mapping and stuff like that, it just doesn't feel rewarding. And like none of the pinnacle content felt particularly rewarding. None of the pinnacle drops are like, besides Megalos, are big like lottery wins. It's like, man, you're barely breaking even on some of these pinnacle stuff. Like Ingenuities, even if you hit a 30-30, how much is that really worth? Not all that much. Anyway, so yeah. Hopefully there are actually some very cool items to find, but you won't ever find them because they're incredibly rare, which is exactly to my point. Like those like T0 drops that are actually the uniques that are being used are just so hard to get. Even last league, I never dropped an Alpha Howl. I never dropped a Queen of the Forest last league. This league too, I never dropped an Alpha. I never dropped a Queen of the Forest. Or an Astra or whatever else. I never dropped a Coming Calamity. They're not even that expensive now. I've never dropped a Deepest Tower. One of the major focuses of 0.2 is making chase items more common, but also adding more chase items to find. In 0.2.1, we're going to significantly improving both the drop rates of the incredibly rare unique items, the T0s, as well as adding a bunch of new exciting and chase uniques that will make your builds to new heights. We're also buffing some of the rarer uniques that were intended to be chase but didn't live up to that standard. I wonder what they're actually targeting with that one. What guesses would you have for like very rare uniques that just feel underwhelming? If you had to take a guess, a shot in the dark, what uniques are they talking about here? Super rare uniques that are just that didn't live up to the standard. Besides Dream Fragments. No, they're talking about like the T0s. No, they're saying we're also buffing some of the rare uniques that were intended to be chase, but didn't live up to that chase standard. Dream Fragments for sure. Temp, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if like they're considering pinnacle drops in this or not.
They're considering pinnacle drops. Maybe buffing Ingenuity. I don't know.
If they're considering pinnacle drops, then Ingenuity getting a slight buff would be nice. Hoa is fine where it is. Stuff like Controlled Metamorphosis is dog shit this league. There's very little use for it. And obviously, because it has different ring sizes, like it's only useful if you get the proper ring size for that like one only use. So it didn't sound like they were talking about pinnacle drops when I first read this. It would be cool if they are considering pinnacle drop buffs, because right now it's like, man, the ultimate mana flask is dead. Like, so for Simulacrum, the only thing that you actually care about is the Megalo. Everything else is useless, right? It's just immediate junk. Then you have actually Struggle Scream is sometimes used, but generally not really. Then you have King of the Mist. From Nothings, they're used a lot. There's different ones that are used, and generally a good number of them are being used. And then you have Ingenuity, which is still being used this league. So at least King of the Mist has like 2 good drops. Then you have Olroth, which the Mana Flask and the the HP Flask and the Heroic Tragedy are both being used. And the shield is being used too, the Lucky Block shield. So Olroth is in a really good place. He's got 3 drops that are being used. Then you have, what's it called? Who is it? So we talked about King. Zesht, Choir of the Storm is being used. Hoa is being used, and kind of Metamorphosis, not really. Mostly because like the jewel sockets kind of suck now. So, but he does have drops that are being used for Zesht. So he's actually in a pretty decent spot too. Arbiter, Regalia is still being used. Sacred Flame is being used. And Prism of Belief is being used.
Rare, but Wave Shaper, I think, was cool as a mid-game piece. It'd be neat to see it just be able to last till like early end game instead. It had some spirit on it, a couple resistances, and then it made your energy shield recharge enhanced by your mana recharge. I thought that was cool.
So yeah, what about Saffles? What are all the T0s? I don't think there's actually a list. Modifiers to maximum block chance instead apply to maximum resistances. Definitely have not seen anyone use this, but it doesn't look particularly rare either. That's the question. That's another question, is what are they considering in this line? I was considering like T0s. Those like top tier uniques like Snake Pit. I assume Alpha Howl is a T0 this league. Stuff like that. That's what I was considering when I read this. So I was like, which ones aren't living up to the expectations?
I was just thinking any of the new ones, because, I mean, they're new, they should be a little exciting. I did use the Wave Shapers for a little bit until I got a high ES piece, and then it was like, oh, why do I need this?
I think Sapphire's frame is just unfortunate because max block is hard to come by as a stat. There's only a few, I think there's only like 1 or 2 notables that you can get from max block. And then there's the Anvil Charm, which reduces your move speed. The Anvil Amulet. So you have to 1, take up your amulet slot, and 2, it reduces your move speed. So I'm not sure. I would assume Sapphire's frame is really just bogged down by the fact that you cannot block. It gives you basically no armor, no ES. So it's just some resistances, and instead you have to stack max block to improve your max resistances. Which is, whatever. I don't know if that counts as a T0 either. So yeah, I'm curious. I think hopefully they revert some of the debuffs to Dream Fragments, or they add something else to Dream Fragments, so it's instead of it just being like a mana stacking item, like there's some other value to it. Maybe add cold damage to it, or I don't know, something else. It would be nice if we could get some of these uniques on higher defenses and mod bases. Yes, that would be so nice. Stuff like Coming Calamity is definitely just hindered by the fact that even on like the highest tier, it's just whatever. Let's see what a Coming Calamity sells. It's still like 15 divs plus now. Oh, that's for the highest level version. Let's see a level 18.
Do you think they're gonna retro these, or do you think it'll be like how they ended lastly, where with some of the items, where you could spend a div to re-roll to the new values? I guess it would depend on how much
probably
they
spend a
change it.
div. It would be nice if we could get some of these uniques. Yeah, like here. So Coming Calamity is armor evasion, which is generally not a preferred like mix. Pretty shitty mix, because generally you either want to stack armor or you go like evasion ES or pure ES. Like you're generally not using this mix. And then yeah, it's like even then it's just so low. 268 evasion is fucking nothing on your chest. It's nothing for your chest piece. It's actually nothing. Are these two price fixing? So one of the so I'm curious what they're gonna buff. I'm curious what I'm assuming. Like when I read this, I'm thinking like T0 uniques. And Coming Calamity, I believe, is like a T0. Anyway, curious to see what happens there. Crafting socketables. One of the issues that we have with the socketable crafting system at the moment is that by the time you get to the end game, there isn't really anything new or exciting to find to socket in your gear. Resistant attributes are great to help with solving the problems in the early game, but in the end game, ideally you should be swapping all of these out for more interesting and powerful mods. In 0.2.1, we are adding 22 new ruins, 14 new soul cores, and 7 new talismans. These cover a full spectrum from being powerful to insane, but are rare to find. You will certainly want to use them over the normal base set of socketables. I'm really wondering, like, what the hell are they cooking with this?
I think I'm gonna steal some of the ultimatums from the guild bank. They're
I
taking
put-
up a lot of room and no one else plays them.
I put all of my Barias and ultimatums in there so that, you know, we always have a good pool for anyone to take from.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take them all. I'm just gonna take like 10. We almost have a quad tab full of those, so I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, Lido, that I don't know what they plan with this, but I'm curious. Is it just going to be better versions of what we already have, just like more rare and require like higher level or something? Or is it going to be like insane how the corrupted essence, which they're also buffing, is going to be insane, like how the corrupted essence can add a whole freaking notable to your chest piece?
That
Like,
would
are-
be bonkers.
Like, are we gonna get some kind of talisman that allocates something for us, or maybe gives us an extra like ascendancy point? Could you imagine something like that?
That would be crazy.
It's like, oh, here's a talisman that goes in your chest piece that gives you an extra ascendancy point, and you can have 2 of them, so now you could get 10 points. Or if it would be,
One with 2 points, yeah.
or if it could be like, oh, a glove talisman, which means that you have to go for a 2-socket glove, and then you get 2 ascendancy points. And it could be something like that. Again, they're saying insane, and I'm just trying to think like, what could they possibly allow us to socket that would be insane? Besides like adding damage mods to armor pieces through socketables. It's like, oh, gain extra 5% as a talisman for your gloves or something.
Your dots can crit.
It's like if all dots could crit like bleed does, like just adding spirit as a socketable or something. I don't know, but in general, like what would be considered insane? And I mean, getting an extra 2 ascendancy points would definitely be considered insane if you could.
Oh yeah. I don't know what I would take, but I know it would be good. I mean, if I was playing my blood mage, though, I mean, yeah.
Skill levels, ooh, true. Skill levels could be a thing too. So they could have a talisman for. They could have a talisman, like talismans or socket or other socketables, like whatever that buff certain skill, whatever. It doesn't. How to get rid of getting one shot out of nowhere? I've seen people in hardcore with like 14,000 ES plus life still get one shot by one attack. Good luck. Yeah, GGG. I mean, considering the nerf tempo, which is probably the hardest item in the game to obtain. Considering the nerf tempo, I doubt they're gonna add anything that has a flat reduction. I'm not talking about Arbiter weed. But also, like, if you also Arbiter is something that you generally want to set up with, like, if you want to tank Arbiter, then you have to set up with a lot of ES and max fire res nodes and stuff like that. Anyway, let's continue. I'm really I just want to see what they're cooking with these new cores and talismans and whatnot. The inherent issue with, like, the whole thing that GGG is just missing is the fact that Iron Ruins are so important in this game. If I go over
before the update.
If I go over, oh, Iron Ruin. What's that? Iron Ruin? Iron Ruin? Iron Ruin? Iron Ruin? Iron Ruin? Iron Ruin. Wow, who would have thought? It's almost like our main survivability layer depends on how much defenses we can stack in our gear and then scale with Iron Ruins. Who would have thought I would be running Iron Ruins? Right? GG, like, every interview that I've watched where Jonathan talks about, like, socketables, he just doesn't seem to understand that Iron Ruins are so prevalent for a reason. And that's the problem that I'm seeing. Is like, dude, we get that you're like, oh yeah, just res swap using socketables. It's like, okay, but first of all, like, when the game came out, you didn't even want us doing, like, res swaps with socketables because you locked everything after. And two is that you're at minimum, generally everyone's running an Iron Ruin on helmet and chest piece. So, like, you're back to you have at most 2 and 2 slots for most builds. Like, you'd have 4 total slots between gloves and boots if you corrupt it to 2 slots to run other things. And then, like, on a build like this, we're still running Iron Ruins on both of those slots, so you're not fixing anything. I don't think Iron Ruin is a duct tape. Or, I mean, if you consider it a duct tape, then you have to look at it in the sense that we can't build enough, like, reduction elsewhere. So we're forced to try and scale our chess pieces and everything to as high as possible. So
something that I've mentioned before, it's hard to keep your resistances super high and your defense, your layers of defense, like you were saying, your evasion.
So anyway, like, doesn't matter how many ruins and cores and talismans they add. It's that we have to survive to make them useful. And replacing Iron Ruins in, like, an 800 plus ES chest piece doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Anyway, Ritual. Ritual also suffered from us pitching the chase rewards too rare as well. We're making the rarer omens from Ritual more common. This just seems ridiculous to me. Ritual is already like the best thing to farm as a solo player, and now they're just buffing how much of the good omens you're gonna get.
But it's gonna mean that more people have the opportunity to do some of the big crafts.
I mean, all it's gonna do is just make it slightly cheaper to make mirror tier crafts. That's it. There's always gonna be an equilibrium point of omen prices to mirror tier crafts, and the higher the mirror fees are, and the more people are willing to mirror, it's basically you have to have more mirrors in the circulation. The more people are willing to mirror and pay the fee, then the more people are willing to craft for mirror fees. So it's never going to change unless they actually like omens are just to me inherently a bad idea because they force you to trade to craft. It's not like you have a crafting bench and you just use currency that you've picked up, collected, and whatnot to do those crafts. You have to go trading for omens and relying on a market economy, which is supply and demand. And the thing is, the demand is largely based off of mirror crafts. So it doesn't matter like how many more people are putting omens in. It just means that mirror crafts will be more profitable because omens will be slightly cheaper. Then they're just going to end up buying more of them and still keeping a relatively high price compared to what people are willing to spend to do like the little things on the side for themselves. That's the problem. So it's like, for me, it's like, oh, I'd be throwing more whittles out, on just like not really mirror tier gear if they were one div. And probably a lot of people in chat here would also be the same if they were only one div right now. But then for mirror crafters, it's like, oh man, we can charge 500 divs on a fee and it's only one div to craft. No brainer. They can pick up 500 whittles and a single mirror service is going to cover that. That's the problem. Now when it's 5 divs and they can charge 500, well, now you have to consider, okay, well, I'm gonna need, let's say, 500 whittles. Am I gonna get 5 services or more out of this on average? And so it's a whole thing. Like, making omens a huge economy point, it just will never be something that is accessible to players. At least not in quantity. Like, sure, you can throw a few around. Like, I finished my ring the other day. Took me 4 whittles and then 10 divs to div it, and I'm pretty happy with where it is right now. But yeah, that's it. What else? That's 4 whittles. That's not a mirror tier item. It's 4 whittles and that's it. Anyway, yeah, the good omens are being more common, but it's not going to fix anything. It's not going to fix anything. Corrupted essences, while we're at it, will also be increasing the commonality of getting corrupted essences when using Val orbs on monsters trapped in essences by approximately 6 times. Oh man, crafting those.
I've never seen one.
I've never seen one either. Crafting those because my understanding is to get a corrupted essence, it has to be a greater essence as a base, and then you corrupt it and it goes up a level to a corrupted essence. So by default, you have to get a greater essence to do it on in the first place. $14k ES is obtainable with specific build. It's not gear related much. It's builds. 200 ES boots. You can get way more than 200 ES on boots and gloves though. You can get like 400 each.
I think like I want to say 9k on liches is like
Oh,
the budget or end.
my bad, Harry. I was checking your whirlwind build. The tree has over 100 points. Oh yeah, that's weapon swaps. So green, this is set 2. This is my AoE set. So you see area of effect, area of effect, area of effect. And you see weapon swap points up here. And then all the damage is on set 1. So set 1 is damage. More damage. Damage here. Anyway, stuff like that. So yeah, corrupted essences will be more common. Rogue Exiles just didn't have enough unique items, so we're increasing the frequency. This is useless. This is a fucking absolutely useless change. Absolutely worthless. They're just increasing how many uniques Rogue Exiles tend to have, and that's it. Red is set 1, green is set 2. You set 2 just to set up your Whirling Slash, and then you use set 1 for everything else. Twisted Domains. The boss in Twisted Domain was pretty valuable, but as an endgame area, the rest of it was pretty underwhelming compared to the other content you were doing at the time. Pinnacle content should be giving less rewards than the dozens of maps required to gain access to it. To start with, we have substantially increased the number of rare monsters that spawn during the domain. Previously, there would often be no rare monsters at all. In addition, we've changed the balance of quantity and rarity that monsters in the domain have. This will mean that the large drop of items that occur right before the boss should now be way more valuable than before. We now also guarantee some rare breach rings in the resulting drop. I should be stocking up on some breach stones right now, actually. They've gone up a tiny little bit. Actually, they've gone up a...
25.
The cheapest I saw them at was 22. They're up to like 30 something right now.
Yeah.
Which is not surprising, considering they just announced like big overhauls and how much...
Yeah, they're pretty profitable.
They're already pretty profitable, so...
I know you're a little less excited about the rarer omens being more frequent, but I'm excited because I have been hunting for more whittles and have not been able to find them, and I just want to work on my wand. It's never going to be mirror tier, but it'll be, you know, pretty decent if I can get a few whittles on it and a few lucky rolls.
Actually, I might need to borrow for the Chronomancer wand. I think I have like almost everything else. Jinx, I was leveling up the Chronomancer this entire stream. It's up to maps now. Tomorrow I'm gonna leech. Tomorrow I'm gonna leech and try and get it to 90-ish. So hopefully I can still borrow that. I have I'm gonna borrow the... Holy, what? This is try hard as fuck for ES stacking. Adorned with all ES percent. This one doesn't even have a second line. Obviously, he's just trying to push the highest. Wait, he didn't use a heroic tragedy? That I'm surprised about. You can push.
Some of those tragedies are really, really good.
I have a heroic tragedy with 4 ES percent nodes. Anyway, yeah, fuck ton of ES.
Oh, you wanted to borrow divs again?
I'll probably need to borrow for the wand for Oh, that does work.
What kind of wand are you looking for?
+5 lightning and crit.
I got bad news for you, buddy. Those wands are real expensive.
Yup. Oh, why don't I put them... Oh shit. JVK. I was just finishing up my stream, kind of. We're going through the patch notes. Okay. All right. Clean this up. I'm stocking up on some breach stones. What's up, total sellout? You have to bring the friends? Yeah, we're going through the patch notes right now. Trying to stock up on some breach stones in the meantime. How was your stream? What kind of build are you playing? What are you looking at? Are you trying anything new? Anyway, so yeah, Rogue Exiles, absolute garbage. Twisted Domain was already profitable, and I think they're going to be way more profitable going forward. Oh shit, Lido got timed out, my bad. Got on 1 second. User Lido.
Oh, you got it.
My bad. See, yeah, it's the links thing. They're buffing logbooks. That's that part is interesting. Endgame content and variety improvements. A second main focus is that we're going to increase the variety of running endgame maps. Right now, did you know that if you were to generate 400,000 maps, 150,000 of them would be hidden grotto? We are currently sick of running that area and fighting that same boss on repeat. The intention here is to normalize the frequency that different maps and thus boss fights appear on the atlas. This will make things feel far less repetitive when playing the end game. The repetition of it isn't even the maps that you're getting. It's that you don't like a lot of the maps, and that you have to spend so much time going to juice your maps. That's the problem. You came here from League of Legends? I've actually never played League of Legends. I played a lot of Smite back in the day. A lot of Smite.
Of the Storm in League of Legends.
I did try Heroes of the Storm, never got into it too much. My friend got me to play Dota for a little bit, but I never got into that either. I love watching Dota, but Dota just felt like too complex for somebody joining in and just playing casually.
Yeah, so I always said that Dota was like the try-hard, League was like the middle ground, and Heroes of the Storm was the easier mode. It's not being totally generous to, League or Heroes, but it's kind of the way that I have to explain it to outsiders. I do like that Heroes of the Storm, for instance, promotes a lot more team play stuff, and League of Legends has adapted since I said that, but they're both good games in their own right. I know some folks who still play HOTS.
So yeah, I played a lot of Smite tournaments, ranked. I played for a long time. Well, not a long time. Like, considering some people have been playing League for like a decade, I played Smite for like 2 years, I want to say. I met some very good friends through Smite. Story for a different time, but yeah, I did enjoy Smite, but the devs, similar to GGG, have absolutely no idea how to balance. Actually, sorry, they did have an idea on how to balance, they just didn't want to balance. It was the weirdest experience. They would literally say like, oh yeah, we're coming out with a new hero, and this is it, every hero was always just OP as fuck. They would come out and just always make the new hero ridiculously broken.
I'm watching you.
And it just ended up being the absolute worst experience, because in pubs, everyone was loading into pubs to try the new hero, and if they didn't get the new hero, they would just abandon. That's it. And in ranked, every single ban was always just, what were the 3 most recent heroes? That's it. Those were the 3 bans. Every single game. Because they were always just way too overpowered. It was so weird, and like, everyone would always bring this up to the devs, like, you obviously know that everything always comes out ridiculously OP, and everyone just rushes to play it, and then like now it just creates like more problems in the community, and they're like, oh yeah, but because it's so strong, that means we get tons of data on it. It's like, but like, you're screwing over tournament play, you're screwing over ranked play, you're screwing over pub play over this shit. Like, they obviously had an idea, they just didn't want to actually bother balancing the characters ahead of time. Like, we're not talking like, oh, you know, it's like, oh, 55% win rate on this new character. It's like, no, we're talking like 75% win rate if it was in ranked or something, if this new character made it through the bans. That's how strong it was.
Sometimes, especially how long it was, like 10 years ago, I think, at this point.
Oh yeah, Nicholas, I played a lot of Apex Legends as well. I don't like EA. I hate EA actually, but I did play a good amount of Apex. It was the only thing that was working that was cross-platform with my friend that was on Xbox, my IRL friend. So yeah, I played tournaments and stuff in Apex as well. Nothing high end, but yeah, did play in tournaments for cash. Won some money.
I think you single-handedly raised the price on Breachstones, my friend.
How much are they now?
34.
Yeah, I bought out all the cheaper ones. Yeah, there are people that just like fawn over EA, and I don't get it. I hate everything they do. Everything they stand for. Anyway, let's get back to the patch notes, because I do want to go to sleep. It's almost 4 a.m. Thank you for the raid, by the way, JVK. How many pro teams disbanded because EA just like abandons competitive Apex to some degree? Like, they just... It's not that they abandon it, like, they still host the championships and everything, but they just don't want to like actually support any of the orgs or anything like that. Like, what? Oh. Additionally, you can expect some other endgame improvements, such as reducing the danger of 2 of the ritual types that were just a ruckus of purple chaos explosions, and reducing the danger and increasing the telegraphing of the volatile plants monster modifier. Combined, these were responsible for over half of all player deaths in the game. I think the problem was more that, especially in rituals, the spaces are so tight in rituals, and then you're still getting like body blocked and pushed by monsters, that it can make it and stunned, that it can make it very difficult to escape volatile plants, especially for how hard they hit. So it's like, oh yeah, they move slowly and they home in on you, and you know, they take a second to explode even when they get to you. But with all that's happening in those ritual rooms, sometimes you have no space to move, and then you're getting stunned and body blocked. Like, that's it. We're also lowering some of the more dangerous map modifiers, like Ellie Pen, to be more in line with the others, improving the rewards and visibility of omens in the Viridian Wildwood unique map, increasing the radius to open clasped hands and breaches, reducing the pack size of the bats that shotgun you with projectiles in the twisted domain, and reworking the curse map mods that have counterplay. I wonder what that means. Curse map mods, that obviously is referring to temp chains. What can we actually do to counterplay temp chains? That I'm curious about. Citadel spawning has also been adjusted. Now whenever a Citadel is generated on the Atlas, it also ensures that it generates 2 other types of Citadels near it. Yeah, this is amazing. That is a really good change. Props to GGG for recognizing that. I'm pretty sure that's like 99% Angor after losing that race on Saturday. But Trial of Sekhemas. In Trial of Sekhemas, we've adjusted the affliction that caused you to have no energy shield to instead have half of your energy shield. I really hope they do this with all of the defensive layers in Sekhemas. A minor affliction removing all of your defensive layer should just not happen. It should either be halved, like in Trial of Chaos, just make it halved. And then you could make a major one that does remove the whole thing. And like you're never going to get a random major affliction, so just that's it. Is you cannot be hindered or good corruption on your Against the Darkness depends on what Against the Darkness. Most people want to Crangle Divine them up. So it's like if you have like a 4% gain lightning, 4% gain fire, you want it to be 5 and 5 instead. But you cannot be hindered is pretty good, mainly because their rare mobs have a modifier called Hinder Aura, which is if you're in their presence, you get hindered. 4 chaos, 4 lightning. I mean, look, the chance of hitting a 5/5 is basically is near 0. So, honestly, I would take that. I tried a lot last league to hit a 5/5, and it was a huge money black hole that was not worth it. So, yep, in Sekhemas, we also discovered a mistake with the chance of getting certain afflictions and boons. Specifically, there was 1 affliction, 2 minor boons, and 1 major boon, and 1 pack that had 100 times the commonality they should have. This would have caused players to constantly be getting them as the first randomly generated outcome. I guarantee you this was not a mistake. I don't know what major affliction or what affliction they're talking about. I'm assuming they're talking about Death's Toll as the major affliction, because they didn't say major or minor affliction. They just said affliction. Death's Toll was extremely common to get as a major affliction when you did have the opportunity to get a major affliction. The two minor boons were Adrenaline Vial and the Marikath Shrine one. Those 2 were way too common, and the major boon was 40 honor per room. I don't know what pact they're referring to. From all my Sekhemas, I can't remember like one pact showing up more than the others. I knew about it last league. They just don't care about Sekhemas. Quality of life and user experience changes. Did some notable quality of life. We have a huge improvement on searching the passive tree when using keyboard and mouse. Now when you search for passives by typing the text field, you can press enter to automatically find and go to that passive. Finally! Somehow POB has it, but not PoE2? Like, okay. If there are multiple passives found in your search, then continuing to press enter will cycle through them. Finally. A huge request has been that we invert the display of tier X on items when using advanced item display. This is so that you can immediately identify if a modifier is the best it can be on an item. This is for more advanced and endgame users, but is very important to being able to quickly assess the true power of an item, or if it's an appropriate crafting base. We are swapping this back to work the same way as Path of Exile 1. Thank God.
No more P9, I can just say tier 1.
Yep. Especially
P9,
since like
P6, P7, P4.
Especially since the same mods are different on different items. Like, okay, well now if you look at chess pieces, they can roll tier 13 life, but you can't get tier 13 life on other pieces. But somebody who doesn't go check that might pick up, oh shit, tier 13, that exists on chess pieces? I mean, and they wouldn't necessarily know that it doesn't exist on the other pieces. And then they're always looking for tier 13 which doesn't exist on other pieces. Anyway, whatever. Now they can see oh, now I have 150 life on my helmet. That's the best on the helmet. Oh, I have 213 life on my chess piece. That's the best on my chess piece. Done. Easy. On the Atlas, when you hover a map, it will separate the categories of modifiers displayed so you can more easily see where those modifiers are coming from. Specifically, you can now determine if they're from corrupted or cleansed influence in one category, and if they're from towers in another category. This will make it clearer looking for specific modifiers like +1 level in corrupted influenced areas. Real talk, hot take, +1 level either should be way more common and should also have an indicator on the map. For how rare it is and to deal with looking for it, I literally, because of how rare it is, when I see it now, I actually indicate it. and I save a bookmark for it because of how rare it is.
Yep.
Like
It should be more common.
if I don't care if they want to keep it rare, realistically it should not be that rare. But if they want to keep it rare, fine. But at least just have some kind of indicator or search for it. Because whatever. There's also performance improvement coming. We're optimizing the physics on monsters and NPCs across the game. This is making them significantly cheaper and will cause less CPU bound bottlenecks on performance. Oh, let's go. Hopefully Simulacrum gets improved a lot. This issue isn't prevalent everywhere, but it's common in areas with lots of humans. Doesn't sound like it's Simulacrum buff. We're also adding improvements to the shop and cosmetics panel, including equip now when purchasing microtransactions. UI buffs to cosmetics, the microtransactions. Okay, well, I guess they have to make some money somehow.